Hey, hola, my friends. Once again, welcome to Together We Grow solar powered, sustainable, hydroponic, aquaponic, and traditional gardens. Well, I'm over here hanging out on our little leisure side of the garden, which we basically, we set aside and we focus on just taking care of the birds. But you know, it's just such a gorgeous day out here. I said, why not use this place to start today's video? And today's video is going to be really cool because just as if the seasons transfer and the seasons change, sometimes you want to transfer where your plants are at. And unlike traditional gardening, which we have nothing against, we support traditional gardening. We encourage you to start with traditional gardening. But with our sustainable solutioning techniques, we're gardening indoors, outdoors, on walls, in closets, in grow rooms. I mean, it's just, you name it. The idea is we've taken, if you guys haven't had a chance to do so, please check out the paragraphic video. I'll even put a link to it down here. Many of you, the majority of you actually found us, thank you for coming here, from that video. And all of this new content that we're making now is because of the responses that you fantastic people gave us to those videos. You've encouraged us to create this new content. You said you had a problem. You said you had a reason why you couldn't garden. Well, here at Together We Grow, we have your solutions. So a few things we're going to do today. We're going to pick up right where we left off yesterday. We're going to check on those plants that we transferred right across the yard into our above ground hydroponic tray system, as well as we're going to take a bok-choy or a tatsoi. We'll see which one's is more willing to move right now. And we're going to transplant that from the indoor, that's right, from the indoor living wall garden to the outdoor tray system. And on top of that, I'm going to show you how to take what would normally be thought of as garbage in your house, in this case, onion scraps, and how you can turn it and utilize it as a beautiful and wonderful companion plant in the same pots that you're growing your vegetables in. You guys ready? I am. Let's go. Well, would you look at that? In such a short little bit of time, 1 or 2 or 3 plants, however many we had out here yesterday, have now turned into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plants, 2 of which we just transplanted out here maybe an hour ago, including this one right here on the edge. Usually when you transplant them, they'll droop down for like a few, maybe like in traditional gardening, they'll droop down for a few days up to a week. Well, in ours, that drooped down for maybe 15 minutes. It's because in the mind, quote unquote, in the mind of this plant, because I really do believe they're little conscious things, but in the mind, in the psyche, in the being of this plant, it knows no different between the parameters that was growing inside the house and the parameters outside. As a matter of fact, it's going to be happier with the parameters that it's growing in outside because these are winter vegetables. So they like a cooler a cooler temperature in the reservoir. So that's what they're actually getting out here. So instead of the water being around, or the nutrient solution being roughly 78 degrees to 80 degrees inside, it's going to drop to around 68, 65, 68 degrees out here, which is beautiful for deciduous greens, things, brassicas, lettuce, broccoli, turnips. It's going to go great. Now let's start from the right, and we'll see. I believe that's a cabbage. Yeah, that's a cabbage. Yeah, I might be screwing that up. There might be a broccoli right there. I'm not sure. But hey, I'm keeping it live for you guys. But that was the one that we transplanted maybe an hour ago, and its leaves are already perked up. It's actually turned its direction to where it's trying to face the sun. And in the early stages, these plants will do that. You'll notice that in your gardens, they're actually like little clocks, and that's what I call them, little biological outdoor clocks where the leaves will perk up and they'll follow the sun around. This one, this has nothing in it, and this is going to be the new home for our new plant. And even though the light likes to play tricks on me, this is actually a little divot right here. See, it's wet. So when we transplant the plant out, it's going to sit right there. But I want you guys to keep an eye on that spot because it's not going to be the same size home for each plant. Because in some of these cases, the plants that we're going to transplant, sometimes they already have a pre-existing net cup on the bottom of the Rockwell cube where the roots are growing out of. And in certain given instances, you don't want to break away too many of those roots. Well, we'll also show you, if not in this video, in a later one, how you can accommodate these same fabric pots. Just move a few lava rocks around and just put that net cup right in there. As long as it's not a tuber or a rooting vegetable, something like a turnip, which actually makes a turnip on the bottom, where you want to remove that net cup. Something like cabbage is going to be fine because all of that plant's growth is above the surface line. Is above the surface line. So keep that in mind. If it's a rooting vegetable, something like a tuber, a turnip, a potato, carrots, things of that nature, you do want to remove it from the net cup before you actually transplant it into your fabric pot. Okay, so guys, matter of fact, let me turn this fan down a little bit. We are inside the living wall grow room, and this is the bok choy that we're actually going to transplant right here. Now, I love this because it's just like the size of a jean pocket, and that's what these plants are growing out of. So even with this bok choy, we'll give it a little tug. There's our root base. Oop, get that out the way. Right here. Even shrink that down. So that's the only thing that we have to make sure that we have covered. I know it's nuts, right? Is this beautiful, beautiful plant who honestly would love to have better, more appropriate conditions than it is in the grow tent and off of the living wall. So this guy is actually going to thrive when we bring it outside. But even while we're in here, we're going to do a few things first to give it a fighting chance. See these outer leaves? I'm going to go ahead and just remove those. And I'm glad I'm doing this, and I'm glad, you know, because I don't want you guys to think that we're just putting it out there. It's like magic. These guys are going to get rolled up and go great inside some ramen. It's like the leaves are even telling me which ones it wants to pull off. So there we go. There we go. There we go. Yep, and I think I'm going to take it to right there. So this is what I want to have. I want to make sure that I'm protecting that inner right there, because those are the baby plants. These, I'm going to set these right on a counter. And these are going to go into some ramen or in another dish. Who knows? I might just set them in the fridge, but who knows? But how cool is that, guys? You just figured out how to harvest, and we're going to transplant this right to that rig that we see outside. And we're going to set this on the counter. I'll see you guys outside in a second. So, hey, guys, we're back outside. We're back outside. And here we have our beautiful bok choy. Look at this guy. See, like I said, these roots are going to look entirely different in just a couple of days. But just look at that beautiful plant. And this guy's just going to go right here. So we don't have much work to do. You can already see where the water level is. We're just going to set that like that. And we're going to take these stones around it and bring those right in. That's it. That's how easy a transfer is. Now, even while I have you guys here right now, I'm going to walk right over to the other side. Walk on to the other side. Give me a second. I'm just going to grab a few lava rocks. There we go. And just to use this as a little bit of support on that amazing plant that we just transplanted. So I'm just going to take those. There we go. Here we go. And just make it nice and neat. I think if we want a nice home, the plant deserves a nice home too, don't you? Mother Nature makes the perfect home for all of us, so why shouldn't we try to make a perfect home for plants? We are stewards of the environment after all, aren't we? I always thought so. So there's our bok choy's new home. So that's pretty cool, but we can take this a step further. Because if you guys look, there's room on the side of that plant. There's room on the side. Well, there's nothing in that one yet, but we'll do that. But there's room there, there. What could we possibly put in these pots with these plants? Now, I mentioned it earlier in the video. The first one to tell me what we could put into these plants as a partner or companion plant will win a cup. You will win a one and only custom made Together We Grow cup. And if I'm good enough and if I'm smart enough to remember, I'll ask my wife and we can even see if we could put your name on it. So tell me again, what normal thing that you could get in your kitchen that you would think of as scraps could we put in one of these pots to be companions and partners to these plants? I'll give you guys a few. Now right there, that's a plant, that's a cabbage plant. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that cabbage plant and we're going to transplant it into our hydroponics rig. But remember when we were talking before and we said, oh, see, look at this. It's in a net cup, right? and you see these wonderful roots. This shows you how beautiful the system's running and how well it's functioning, how the plants are just absorbing the nutrient solution that's in there. Well, one video soon, we'll go through the feeding. On our outdoor systems, we try to keep it simple as possible. So we do use Master Blend. I'm not sponsored or endorsed by them, but I just wanted to tell you it's nothing fancy. It's very affordable and it lasts a long time. But let's go back to this net cup. Now, when it comes to transplanting this, yeah, we could pull that out, and you're gonna lose some root growth. And we don't wanna do that. We don't wanna shock this plant too much. So what we're gonna do is we're just going to take this entire plant, because it is a cabbage plant. See, cabbage plant. I'm sorry, you can tell I'm old. I'm sorry. But we're gonna transplant this to the hydroponics rig, so let's get that going. Okay, my friends, so here's our cabbage, here's our net cup. We already have our little divot, our spot, and all we're going to do just set this. I try to get it right in the middle to the best, just not right there. And we're just going to take those lava rocks and we're going to push them around that net cup. That's it. That's it. Voila. He has this new home. How cool, or she, how cool is that? But just like any other one, because I try to make it look a little pretty. So what I'm going to do is step to the side. You guessed it, grab some lava rocks and just make it look pretty going around the plant. Totally unnecessary. This is all aesthetics, but I like it. And it makes me feel good thinking that I'm somehow making that plant feel good, because sooner or later that plant's going to make me feel good again. I hope you guys are enjoying this. So you guessed it, guys. Here you go. Onion scraps. Kitchen onion scraps. Usually they've been thrown in garbage. These have been sitting in the counter for about a week. Let's see if we can get this in frame. I hope I can. There's a tray of them. This took absolutely nothing. No nutrient solution, no nothing. Just set it on a tray, put it on the counter. It got minimum amount of sunlight. A week later, this is what we have. Now, if you like young, fresh, tender green onion shoots, it's really nice because you can just use them from the counter like this. But if you want to keep these sustainable and you want them to keep going, then please check the videos, check all of our old videos, because we'll show you how we've actually made a profit by growing these year round and then turning them into a variety of viable, nutritional, and edible products in the house. But what we do is we find a space right next to the corner. We remove a few rocks. And what you want is, you don't want the entire bulb, because this plant's smart. It'll grow above that water line. What you want the roots submerged, not this bulb, just the roots. So we're gonna get those roots right there where the plant, oh man, it knows it already. It doesn't have to work for that. And we're just gonna get those rocks. We're gonna push those right in there and give you a nice little home, right, buddy? Right? Yeah? There you go. And that's his nice little home. Now, not only is that going to thrive, not only is it going to grow there, but doesn't it look pretty in there? It adds a little bit of dimension, adds a little, it makes it look different, and I like it. And the more plants, the better, right? The more plants, the better. More plants, the better. But there you go, a nice companion plant for anything you're growing in a net pot. A scrap onion. Don't worry about the roots interacting. Your cabbage or your broccoli is not going to taste like onion greens. Don't let your imagination get the best of you here. This is fun, it's easy, and for the most part, it's free. Just make sure that you don't throw this away. So what I'm gonna do is I'll do one more in real time to show you guys how easy it is. And let's see, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a onion green by the toe. If the onion green might scream, then let it go, because it's mean. I don't know, man, that was an awful, awful nursery rhyme. But let's get to playing. Let's go with this guy. Right here. Actually, no, let's get him. Oh, this guy. Let's see. Nice clean roots. Just a few coming out. So this is nice and young. We take that brown piece, just snap that off right there. And come right over to this beautiful guy right here. We're going to remove some rocks right from the corner. Not many. Just the roots. Right there. And push those rocks back in. Feel free to go through our older videos. You'll see how not only is this just a great idea, not only is it fun, not only is it resourceful, but these things grow like crazy. Everything you see out here loves the winter temperature. They love the winter temperature. They're born to do this. As a matter of fact, I think we grow 1/3 or something like that of the world's leafy greens in the southwestern United States during the winter months. So that's how can I say it? That's how much these plants love the climate here. That's how much they're acclimated. That's how much they're adapted to it. And if they want to grow here, who are we to say not plant them? Let's plant that first seed so that together we'll grow. And that's what these plants are showing us. I hope you guys are enjoying this. One more thing, I won't keep you much longer. On a final note, my friends, a year ago to this very day, last Halloween, I was rushed to the hospital for what doctors believed was a stroke. Increased blood pressure, out of control heart rate. I really thought it was the end. Unbeknownst to me, my granddaughter Brooklyn, our granddaughter Brooklyn, was born on that very same day. And as I lay in a hospital bed thinking that it was the very end of my life because I was taking poor care of my health, neglecting myself spiritually, mentally, and physically, I almost missed the greatest thing that happened to me at that moment, which was the birth of my granddaughter. And I realized that no matter how firm the roots are that you plant, like on this beautiful head of lettuce, the roots are gorgeous. The roots are beautiful. Nutrition is being fed to this plant. But this plant, think of yourself. Before you think of this plant, you got to think of yourself. I had to think of myself. If I can take care of this plant, I should be taking care of myself just as well. So I cut back on work. I cut back on everything. I focused on family. And what ended up coming out of it was just breakthroughs in science, breakthroughs in technology, and just able to present you guys with some kick butt material. So I hope you're sticking around, and I hope you're having fun. I hope you subscribe. I hope you're following. And just like these roots, over time, we're going to get stronger. I promise I'm not leaving you guys anytime soon. Plant that first seed, and together we'll grow. Peace and blessings, my friends.